simple one. Just give me your assessment of the progress of the offensive line.
I'm really excited about this group. I think we got the highest ceiling we've had since I've been here. We're not there yet. We're a little bit up and down. Sometimes we really, really look good, and sometimes we don't look as good. So we had some protection issues out there today that we got to clean up. But I'm really excited just about the group, the effort we're playing with, the physicality we're playing with. Our communication's gotten way better. Zach Frazier's doing a great job at center. We've really worked hard to develop a second-team sitter with Gamitter. Is doing a really good job where he can come in and take snaps at that second-team center also, along with being the guard. But feel good about the tackle spots. Yates is taking a step. Still a pretty young player. He's taken a step this camp and had a solid camp so far. And we've got a battle at right tackle, with White, Milam, and Parker Moore. It's a battle. White's really come in and done a really good job with being ready to play and knowing the offense and just playing with outstanding effort. And Parker has made himself way better over the past year. And that competition will do it. I mean, that's what it's all about, guys. Here, this is the first year I've really had a true, hey, somebody's pushing somebody instead of just having five guys and trying to figure out, So I think the competition has really made a difference over the summer. We had a really good summer, and going into camp, it's made a difference. So guys, it means something to be one of the starting five, and it means something to be an O lineman here, and that's the way we're playing right now. I got to continue to push that.
In terms of game readiness, how does Wyatt compare this year to Zach from last year?
I feel like they're very similar personality-wise. Like they don't get rattled about much. They're very competitive. They understand the game, so they're very similar. I say that I don't know. When you put 60,000 people out there in straight, I didn't know what Zach was going to do either. He went out his first game, and y'all saw him play. He played really well, and I feel like White will do the same thing, but just they just have that demeanor about them where they're in control and they don't get real emotional about anything, and so I feel like he'll do the same. But we'll see.
How many do you have right now, and how many do you want to have by the end of camp? At least the guys you can depend on.
I want 20. I want 20 that can play. Now, I feel really good about 7 guys right now. I feel like I got 7 guys, but I feel like with Hubbard really coming on at left tackle, he's totally changed his body. He hadn't played in a year and a half, you know what I mean? So he's making some mistakes, but he's working really hard to he's a really high effort, high energy guy. I really need him to come along. Malone is playing better and better. He's just solid. I moved him to guard instead of tackle. He's been really solid at that left guard spot. Jordan White is one of the 7 guys I feel like can play. So really, I feel good about 7 guys, and I think we can get 3 more ready and feel pretty good about having that 2 deep that the elusive 2 deep that I've been chasing for the past 2 years.
When you see the problems you mentioned, more physical technique or more mental communication?
You say the problems?
When you see
when I see the problems.
Physical or more mental?
It's more mental. It's more mental and technique. When we do get beat on something, and the good thing is you don't want to go through camp and win everything. It means you're not very good on defense, right? And we're going to get some really good players, and they take advantage of poor technique. And, that's the great thing about, going against Messidor every day. If your hands are wrong, he's going to make you pay. If you're leaning, he's going to make you pay. And that's how good teams become great teams, is they go against really good people, and you can't be unfocused. You can't be, not giving full effort. You got to do those things, and that's what helps teams take that step from being a good team or an average team to being a good team or a great team.
You mentioned Jordan White. You kind of view him as a 2-for-1 player because he can play those inside positions and also center a little bit?
Yeah, I see him as a threefold guy. Center's coming along where he's getting better. He's getting way better, but he can play left guard, right guard, or center. Doug can play left guard or right guard. Gamitter can play left guard or center. So I've really tried to make that inside group where we got several guys that can switch around and play some other positions.
So that 7 maybe could be 8 or 9 if you count the.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
The tackle position is where I really need to find out who the fourth guy is going to be. I got 3 of them. I got to find out who the fourth guy is going to be in case something happens, who can go in there and not just get us through a game, but who can go in there and perform, when the game's on the line, if somebody gets hurt, who can go in there and perform. So that's what I'm working on now. I got to figure out who that's going to be.
Who's your second left tackle right now? Is that
It's Jaquay Hubbard.
Okay.
Yeah, Jaquay Hubbard is, and he's, like I said, he hadn't played in a year and a half, changed his body. He's doing some really good things, making some mistakes that basically a redshirt freshman would normally make. But, that kid, he plays with a kind of effort that just, as a coach, you want to do everything you can to make him. He plays with some unbelievable effort. Not just plays practices with unbelievable effort.
He looks different.
As a coach, how trying was it on you to get from where you were when you came in to where you are now? And
Well, I don't know if y'all remember when I got here, I was like 250. I was all shredded up and my hair was just completely dark. But you understand it's, yeah, I understand. I understood. I've done it before. We did the same thing at Troy, We knew it was a problem, and it really helps to have a head coach and an offensive coordinator that understands where you are, and doesn't want you to go from here to here. He understands it's going to be here to here to here, and it's going to be a process, especially up front. You're not just going to flip the switch overnight. And we did, to win the games we did and have the success we did, a lot of it we called around the deficiencies we had up front. And, now we're getting to the point where now hopefully we can call a game and we don't have deficiencies. We expect everybody to win and, to be able to run the offense. So it's been a process, and it's been recruiting. It's been, fundamentals. It's been Mike Joseph. It's been all those things helping everybody. And it's been, like I said, competition is a humongous part of it when you throw it in there, and you got to really compete every day. You got to compete in the weight room. You got to compete with taking care of your body. You got to compete with, fighting through injuries, all those things where if you don't have somebody right behind you and you feel like, hey, I can take it easy today. And because you guys y'all know, I had some guys where it didn't matter how hard they worked or not, they were probably going to start. But now I feel like we're beyond that point.
Is it fair to say, I asked Neil this, if you take McKivitz out of the mix that first year, would that second group, talent-wise, be comparable to the first offensive line you had the first year here? Taking McKivitz out of it.
Yeah, probably. Especially being as early as we were in the scheme and as early as we were. And so, yeah, probably very similar to what we're with the second group right now,
I mean, that speaks to what you have depth-wise that you didn't have before.
Exactly. And how hard these kids have worked to get themselves better,
Where is his progress from spring to where he is now?
He's moving much faster. He's totally changed his body. He came in here weighing close to 340. Now he's got his body fat percentage down, in the low 20s, high 19s, and he's down to 320 pounds consistently. So he's moving way better. And he's just got to keep learning the intricacies of the game. He's a smart guy, and he wants to learn, and you can see him, he's faster off the ball than he was in the spring, and a lot of that has to do with understanding what we're doing and understanding not having to think about every little thing, you know what I mean? So his ball get-off's way better. We got to continue to work on his pad level, on his hand placement, little things like that, but I think that he has got a really, really high ceiling also. Really high ceiling. So I think we got to continue to progress through the season. That's the big thing too. It's not just game 1, here we are. We should be game 4, we're better. Game 8, we're better. Game 10, we're better. As an O-line, especially as young as we are, we shouldn't just get to a plateau and say, here's where we are after Maryland. We got to keep climbing and keep continuing to get better and better.
Coach, ultimately, what do you hope the identity of your group is this season?
Physical, effort. I want somebody to turn the film on and go, my God, these dudes play hard. These guys play hard. They get after it. We're blue collar. We don't care about getting any kind of accolades. We're just playing hard. We're playing smart. But the big thing is I just want us to be physical, what we have not been to the point where we want it to be. I want us to be the most physical offensive line in the country. That's what I want I want the defensive coordinator next week to turn that film on and go, God, boy, those jokers play hard. They get after it. They play hard, and they're fundamentally sound.
Do you keep mixing guys until you break camp and then determine who your group is you're going to work with in Maryland? Do you keep tweaking guys, moving around a little bit? Or are you starting to narrow that down a little bit?
No, I've been moving. Well, trying to develop the second team center has been one of those things where it's been Gmitter's been the starting center for the second group one day, and then Jay White plays right guard with the first group. Doug plays left, and then the next day they switch. Jay White goes to left guard, Doug to right, and then Jay White goes back to play center with the first group. So that's been like a little three-way deal, and it's really just trying to make sure we've got an answer for, hey, something happens, we need a center that we can function and we can move the ball and we can. So really, and then having Doug play both guards, so he's ready to go on either side.
Comfort level with Zach at the center. I mean, it seems like I don't think he started a game there last year, but also now he seems like, okay, that's the one guy we can depend on.
Yeah, the thing is with Zach is his dad and his mom have done a phenomenal job with keeping the kid so humble, but at the same time pushing him, and his dad spent a lot of time with him with football growing up, understanding the game and understanding the big picture. He does such a good job and studies so hard at understanding where the play's going to start and who we're going to ID and who's working to who, and the communication of that is just very comfortable. I think we can continue to get better. You can continue to get better and see the secondary now and understand safety rotation, and that's when you start getting to those 400 level classes. You know what I mean?
One more individual. Parker Moore is a guy that we don't talk a whole lot about, but where is he? You mentioned him a little bit.
He's in a dogfight right now with Wyatt Milam. They're in a dogfight. They're splitting reps. Basically, they split the scrimmage. And up until the scrimmage, Wyatt had been getting all the second team reps, and Parker had been getting the first team reps. And then, it's hard to make a decision when, you got the first team guy going against first team defense all the time. And the second team guy, you're like, oh man, he's looking really good. Well, then you say, well, we need to flip that thing. So we flipped it. Now Wyatt got all the first team reps against the first team defense. So trying to make that decision, but they're in a dogfight. He's gotten way better. Parker's gotten way better, and he's continuing to work. He's had a great offseason, but it's going to be a dogfight to figure out who's going to start at that right tackle spot.
Will you play multiples in a rotation? Last year, you really only, I guess, rotated one guy consistently unless he had to do something.
I
Would you
will
do
if-
7 or 8 this year?
I won't do it just to do it. I'll do it if I got somebody that like Jordan White. He's good enough where he can go in there. But I'm not just going to roll a guy in just to roll a guy in. I'm going to make if we're somewhere where I feel like I got 7 that I don't even bat an eye at, I can put them in. We'll do that. So, we're going to make sure the best 5 are out there as much as they can be.
You think a guy, the way you guys play with tempo and different things, you think a guy like Doug can play 50 snaps right off the bat, or is that?
Yeah, no doubt. Mike Joseph's done a phenomenal job with Doug. They've done a phenomenal job. The O-line had from talking to Mike, had a really good offseason. Conditioning, everything, running the hill, didn't miss a rep. I got no issues with Doug playing 80 snaps.
You talk about wanting a physical image. How do you develop that?
Well, it starts from Coach Joseph. It starts with Mike Joseph. It starts with the weight room. It starts with a mentality of pushing yourself and being mentally tough, and then getting on the field and just, demanding that out of them, and just reminding them over and over, what we got to do today, we got to be physical. We got to be physical. It's a decision, it's like, it's like anything else you do. It's a habit you develop where every time we put the ball down, if you tell them it's full go, they got to be physical. There's no, and some of the guys, it's a struggle. You got to constantly remind them. You got to constantly be on them about being more physical all the time. Brandon Yates has come a million miles in a year and a half, 2 years of just trying to be a more physical player every snap.
Coach, how much, if any, does O'Loughlin's absence affect, developing comfort, blocking with the tackles, the things you all want to do, especially on exterior runs?
All right, say that again about
How much is O'Loughlin's absence through
O'Loughlin.
the part of yeah? Does that affect him working with the tackles, them getting comfortable for your exterior run blocking?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's definitely one of those things where the communication between tackle and tight end has to be on point. And Banks has done a really good job, but it's going to take, when O'Loughlin comes back and gets in there, it's going to, we're going to have to really work to get those reps that we lost to make sure we understand the looks, who the Mike ID is, who's the +1, -1, who we're working to. There's a lot of stuff and it happens like this. It's easy to freeze the film and say it, but when you're out there and your hands on the ground and you're talking about those reps are going to be something we're going to have to figure out a way to steal them back.
What's this group do best? Pass pro, inside run? What's the area that you got to clean up a little bit, you think?
It goes day to day. We're really working hard on outside zone. We're really working hard on inside zone. We're trying to be, nothing really first except physical, no matter what we're doing. But I feel like, I just think that we're definitely getting better at covering people up and running the ball. And, pass pro is just, it's one of those things where you just got to continue to work it, especially versus our defense with all the twists and stuff you get, don't get as much straight rush. So you're always, thinking about that. How do you get better at that? How do you log full speed reps of that? So I can't really put my finger on saying, hey, this is what we're great at and this is what we're bad at,
The scrimmage Saturday, there were some issues with the defense. Was it with the younger guys just identifying? Were they doing some different things that they were getting pressure on you guys a little bit in the scrimmage on Saturday? I recall being with the second team a lot. You remember?
I'm trying to remember. No, I tell you, we had some situations where we got bowled back into the quarterback, where it's just young players, that it's like Jaquay a couple times gave up some pressure at left tackle, and it's just him continuing to develop as a player. He's standing straight up, you get bowled back in the quarterback, just fundamental stuff like that we got to fix.
So there weren't confusing things that they were doing?
No.
Okay.
By this time you've seen them enough. It was just poor technique, lost leverage. No questions about the receivers or glad I don't have to answer those anymore, right? Appreciate it, guys.